Okay, we are back after Ryan peeing and restarting. We are here for the season 2 draft analysis. Like I said, I got Ryan with me again. AJ flaked last second, so he's not here. I got hummus on my finger, and we're clean. All right, so I won season 1. Ryan unluckily lost to Austin in the first round of playoffs. I got my winning team right here. Kind of cool. And yeah, here we go. I hate my draft, is the gist of what's going on here. I kind of like took Torkel out of the blue because I was like, man, I really need a fire type and I really need a rapid spinner. And then I also wanted to mess up Ryan because I thought it was funny, but it was mainly for the first two things. And I took Torkel, and then it totally ruined all of my plans because then I got shoehorned into picking Roaring Moon instead of like Dragonite or Hisuian Samurott. I took a middle ground with that. It was probably okay because then I should have just taken like a shitty fire type I think, and then tried to take both of those and then do like the Noah method where his last three picks were totally useless and just had a really like good 7 or 8. But here we are with my shit instead. Uh, I picked Sneasler overall. Um, I was expecting Riley to pick it, and then he didn't. I didn't want to jump ahead of him because he said he wanted Sneasler. We had done a lot of talking before the draft, and because I won, I got to shift spots, and I didn't want to just be cringe and like jump in front of him and just snipe his Sneasler. But when it came to me, I took it anyways because it's a Pokemon that I like a lot. I like Weavile a lot, and Sneasler is pretty similar to that. I like the Weavile from our BDSP draft so long ago. And then Gliscor Golden Go is a pretty nice combo. I wanted the Hisuian Samurai, like I was saying. I thought that would have been a really disgusting like 4. Just a lot of hazard setting up, and then the best spin blocker and Golden Go. But I got a pretty decent 3 that I think I'm going to bring every week in those 3, and then a relatively versatile other 7. I think I have like this nice Torkoal Roaring Moon package, which I think will probably be better than I expect it to be. I'm kind of low on it, but I think it's because I'm low on it because I was so excited about the other thing, but it's probably a little bit better than I'm thinking it is. Thwacky for the grassy.
One,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say one thing about the whole Roaring Moon thing. I know it kind of got banned by Ubers because the booster energy plus acrobatics is
Yeah,
really good, and you can
that
Terra flying,
yeah, that's for
and
Terra
that
flying.
was why I was super strong. But if you like, I was kind of down on the Pokemon just because with photosynthesis that can't happen. You also can't Terra in this. I mean, don't get me wrong, that Pokemon still is gonna hit like a truck. It is basically like a legendary Pokemon, and a photosynthesis user. So I think it's going to be fine for you. I know you're always super hyped about getting a big dragon. So that's why I was kind of surprised with your first like 4 picks. I was like, this he didn't like pick a high tier dragon yet. I know you said you wanted Vax and you
There,
had 3
yeah.
opportunities to take it. I was kind of
Um,
surprised about that too. Oh
I
no, you only
I
had
I
two.
I had,
Vax was
I had
second.
2. Yeah, so one of my other intention, if so, I took Gliscor, and if it came back to me, I was gonna take Bax, but then Ian took one of my original plans of Slowking Galar plus Bax early with his like 2 dragons here, so I think he kind of is odd for that. But we'll get to that later. But yeah, I mean, Roaring Moon, obviously, yeah, the Terraflying Acrobatics with the booster energy is obviously the big juice, but it did fill a role that I needed very much so, which is a good dark type to resist or to be immune to a psychic type attack against Sneasler, which is what people want to be clicking ideally. And then it's also neutral against Fairy as a dragon, so it's not that bad. I don't think. It's like you were saying, its stats are obviously pretty good still, and it is a real threat if I like double its speed or give it like a choice scarf in the photosynthesis, and then also maybe like bandit or something. I don't know. It could be a big deal. Thwacky is grassy seed enabler for Sneasler, one of my Terra captains as well. That's one of them in the SPL, the document here that we copied, which is like Pokeaim and his gang, their draft league. That is MV's. That's like his enabler for the Sneasler. He has Thwacky with it. I would have liked Rillaboom. I was happy to take that on the wheel in my first pick, or for my second pick, and then Noah took it. And he said that he wanted Sneasler Rillaboom, but I'm glad he didn't get that, because that would have been a really disgusting combo, whoever got that.
Yeah.
Bruxish was really good in our tests. Ryan, AJ, and I did a lot of like pre-draft stuff, and Bruxish was really sweet. Kamala I thought was a lot better than it is. I've just been playing some Radical Red, and one of the harder trainers in there has got a Kamala with Protect Last Resort, and I thought that this Pokemon got Last Resort in this, but it's just because it was the modded game. So Kamala's he's
Uh,
okay. He's all right.
that was one thing when we got to your team. I was gonna ask you like, what the fuck is this Pokemon? Like, 'cause I've never
Kamala's
heard of it before.
he's good.
Is it always asleep? Is that what I read about its
Yeah,
ability? That he's
what I'd
always
actually
asleep?
like to know real quick is how Kamala works with Sleep Cause.
I think nothing. I think you're only allowed to put one Pokemon asleep, and Kamala's not like I'm gonna bring him so nobody else can be slept. That's kind of my assumption. I would be very surprised if that was the opposite.
Yeah, you're right, because you can click rest when somebody's already spored you or something. Yeah, okay. But
Yeah.
it just
Or I
is.
mean, otherwise, isn't your like Dire Claw and Sneasler also like not part of sleep clause? Like if you sleep somebody with your first Dire Claw, you can still technically like spore
No,
somebody
you
afterwards.
can't spore somebody afterwards, but if I've already spored someone, or in this case, I don't have a spore Pokemon, so if I've already like Dire Clawed slept somebody and they switch in and I Dire Claw again and then that gets slept, that's not my fault. It's that's not part of
Okay.
sleep clause. But if but I can't actively use a move that puts somebody asleep. That's like like Sing, Spore, whatever. Um, when I've already slept something. So yeah, I think you're right about the Kamala. And then Gothitelle is back, something that I'm not very excited about because I did totally forget that I can't tear it. That was kind of busted for it last time, but I think it'll still have some pretty good use. It was kind of my niche Pokemon. It definitely carried me through my last 2 weeks against Riley and Noah, and it is something that people have to prep for pretty extensively, I think, because if you, especially in best of one, like if I just get to cheese you with Gothitelle and take like one or two Pokemon, or put your like one and put myself in a great spot, put up like screens or something, you will just lose to that. So, what about your team, Ryan? What do you think?
My team,
What's
uh,
your team name, by the way? Because you said that I stole
it's
it.
it's it's Reverum Racing. That was my pick.
Reverum Racing. Yeah, you got
Yeah,
your Reverum
I
at
haven't
least.
haven't had the chance to make my graphic yet, but my image so far is something to do with Mario Kart. Being a Nintendo guy, being myself, probably like smack Reverum out there with like the Mario Kart cast, and that's about it. Call it a day. Um, but yeah, so I will say first two picks went according to plan. I talked to Riley about this. He had Ogerpon Fire. I really wanted that Pokemon with, believe it or not, looking at my team, I'm doing Sun again, kind of, I suppose. I thought Ogerpon Fire was really good grass type and fire type, and that thing just would smack in the sun. One of the reasons why it actually got banned, I saw. So I was excited to get that Pokemon, but when I was taking third, I was just like, makes sense. It's a new Pokemon.
Yeah, because you wanted that third pick too. That I don't. That was a stretch, I
No,
think,
no, no.
out
I
of
was gonna
you.
take it two.
Oh,
I was
you were
gonna take
taking
it two.
two.
I was
Okay,
gonna take
okay.
it two. Yep. I was gonna do Great Tusk and then Ogerpon Fire, and then if Walking Wake was taken, I probably would have gone. What's the Roaring Moon for my Dragon Photosynthesis type?
Got it.
And then there was a couple of other water types that I was fond of, so it wasn't gonna be the end of the day. But I'm glad I got both Great Tusk and Walking Wake. Those were two Pokemon I played a lot of. One kind of prepping for this, and I liked them a lot. I was say that I know you and some other people don't seem to like Walking Lake. I don't know if that's it
I
looks ugly type of
Yeah,
thing.
it's probably a reasonable Pokemon. I haven't seen much gameplay of it at all, but it's just not a Pokemon that I think is very interesting. I think it looks stupid, and I'm not a fan of Suicune already. And then slapping
On
like
the
weird shit
yeah,
on Suicune doesn't help its case for me at least.
I mean obviously I think its water type move that gets boosted in the sun is huge. I think that's a great way to kind of get rid of the other fire types that like might be coming in against me,
Yep,
expecting
I
sun.
I agree with you.
I think it has really good coverage moves as well. It slaps. It's relatively tanky. It's kind of versatile. I've tried multiple different types. I can just basically go choice specs. I can go leftovers tankier, right? So there's multiple things. And then Great Tusk, of course, probably one of the best Pokemon in the game. Best spinner. I don't see a path where I ever wouldn't bring that in one of my weeks. So I was overall glad with those two. Kilowattrel was something that I wasn't planning on picking until it took Jimmy about 4 hours to pick. And I was just like, I was looking at my team. I was just like, everybody that I like kind of want, like, is super effective against ground. And with with Ogrepon Fire being gone, that was like going to be my strong grass type. That wasn't my Terra Captain. So I kind of wanted something that was strong against water. I was honestly really surprised. Not a lot of people picked the big Pokemon like until Austin, I guess. But I was expecting like Manaphy, Hisuian Samurott, Quaquaval. I thought that was going to be more dispersed. I was kind of looking through it yesterday, and there's only like a few people that have strong water types. But anyways, that was kind of my reasoning about that. A flying electric type, super fast as well. One of the best Terra Captains. Has Volt Absorb too. With paired with my Great Ground type, I think bringing those two every week is gonna
Do you
be really
have
hard.
any
So,
Pokemon that wants? I mean, you could do it with like Shiftry, or you don't want to do it with Kilowattrel. Do you have a Pokemon like does like one of your
read
non
my
the?
Terra Captains. Read Shiftry Terra Captain. I think I'm reading your mind right now. And what was one of my
I
three?
I don't think you are. Do you have
Uh,
anybody on your team that gets Tailwind besides
and
Kilowattrel Shiftry?
Frostmoth,
Frostmoth
Frostmoth,
does.
Shiftry, Kilowattrel.
Okay.
Shiftry currently has Terra Normal.
Oh, sure. There.
That's
Okay. There. Okay. Okay. So you.
a very
God, that seems like it's so bad though, Ryan. You're gonna like lead Sashed, Tailwind, Terranormal Explosion? No chance is that good. You're just
we'll
gonna
see.
sack your Terra type? I don't know, man. I think does everybody end up with a Ghost type? I'm not sure if Mark has one. I think that one of the Oricorios might be Ghost. Let me look here once.
So I mean, when I was doing my
Yeah,
Terra Captains,
it
I was
is.
kind of like looking about what my team wanted, and also what both Shiftry and Kilowattrel in the Shuckle Premier League were taken and used as Terra Captains. So I kind of looked at those, and I was honestly confused as to why some of the Terra Captains had that stuff, specifically Shiftry,
Yeah.
and I didn't really like it. And I knew I wanted Dark because I didn't have any Dark users. He's kind of like my own one. I don't have a Psychic type either, so the whole like that kind of like trio was just like I need some sort of strong dark type and
Everybody's.
knowing sucker punch, knowing knockoff, right? Like those two moves.
Mhm.
I like it. But so I did that instead of grass. Also having an electric type that was my other Terra Captain. And then I did fairy because we'll get to this when I talk about the things I don't like about my draft. I did fairy because I didn't really have a strong fairy type.
Oh yeah,
It's
did you
it's
end up
really
with a
good for
fairy type at all here?
resistances.
Carbink, right?
I
Was
did
your
Carbink, Carbink.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What you thought
So
was something else.
we'll talk about this at the end. But yeah, so I wanted a fairy type for that. And then the last one was just like, you know what? I don't know what a third type was. I was thinking of maybe fire type, which would be good in the sun, and doing something like an energy ball special attacker. I don't think he learned any other fire moves other than I think like bangs or something like that. I'm pretty sure. Let me check.
Yeah, I'm in it.
Fire
I'm in it right now.
type. Heat Wave and Will O Wisp are the only two. And then Energy Ball would be better than Heat Wave. So it would have I would have gone like special attacking Shiftry and stuff like that. So, but I just wasn't as a big of his fan, especially that I had Sarah Ledge, who's kind of be my fat fire attacker in the sun if I chose to do it. So I thought the Lee of Explosion would be kind of cool.
Everybody has a
And
ghost type,
it's
by the
not like
way. Every single
everybody does have a
Pokemon.
ghost type, and that's
Yeah.
totally fine because I'm also dark, believe it or not, and I have knockoff.
Yeah.
So
You're not
if
wrong.
somebody is expecting me to click explosion, then I can do. I don't have to Terra normal,
Yeah,
right?
you're right. It is a
Um,
50-50, yeah.
yep. So I think it. I'm not gonna bring it every week, but I didn't know what my third Terra would be, and I thought Terra normal explosion could potentially be deemed useful
I'm excited to lose to
in the
it.
future. Yeah. So that was kind of like my main thing with Shiftry. I think he serves as my chlorophyll user as well as a tailwind setter for Kilowattrel in those types of times. I think those two worked well together, and that was another reason why, because Shiftry was the chlorophyll user I wanted, and then with you talking about like a couple weeks ago about you wanted a tailwind user, and you were talking about Shiftry because he also used it well, and you wanted Kilowattrel. I was just like, let's try this out.
I didn't want
So,
Shiftry, for the record.
you didn't?
No, I never wanted Shiftry.
You talked about it. Okay,
I mentioned that he
whatever.
had Wind Rider. I
Um,
wanted Tornadus as my ideal one, but yeah.
Red Room's a goat. Everybody's gonna learn that. Sarah Ledge I wanted, and then after that it just gets rough. I would say.
I think your
Wasn't
team's
expecting.
fine. Yeah, I mean,
Wasn't
I think
expecting
you
you to
were
take Torkoal.
griefing for
I
not
was
taking
really.
Torkoal early. When you build your entire team around Torkoal, you're
It's
griefing
not
for
built
taking it.
entirely around
It
Torkoal, but
is! You were talking
it's
so
not.
much about how
If you think I'm taking Sun every single week, you're
I
crazy.
agree,
But that's okay.
but you were so high on Torkoal compared to Ninetales, you definitely could have waited on some of your other picks and not gotten like nobody was taking Sarah Ledge, and it just seemed
You picked it after my fourth pick set. I was going to pick it at 5. I was
well,
going to do Sarah Ledge, and
well,
Torkoal, right?
well,
And I did Sarah Ledge and other Sunsetter. So
well,
it's fine. I looked at Ninetales. I like it more than what I thought I did originally. I think it's going to be a little bit different than Torkoal, which I liked a little bit more. I think he's better just because he can do rapid spin, but
yeah. Did you end with a
Ninetales
spinner at all? Does Carbon Cow spin maybe? That'd be my first look
a
here.
great Tusk.
Great, obviously, Zach. That's a good point there. Yeah.
I also have a whole bunch of people that know defog as well. I'm not worried about hazards
Okay.
realistically. So I think at the end of the day, it was okay. I liked it after I read some of Ninetales' other moves. I think it'll deem useful in
This
the upcoming weeks if
Pokemon
I
looks
take it.
good.
So
It gets Baton Pass. It's got Memento. Just for pivoting purposes here. I don't know.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
It's Will-O-Wisp,
It can also be used. Its special attack isn't great, but
Encore.
in the sun, like I think it has like 80 something, 80, 81, 82,
Correct.
maybe. I'm not
81.
sure.
81.
Pretty good in the sun still. So I'm not too worried about it. Diplin, Pokemon I very much wanted to play with.
I'm Diplin.
I'm excited about the dip. Everybody's gonna have to look out for it. There's times where I wanted to make Diplin a Terra captain, but I didn't have another like 3-pointer, and I felt like Kilowattrel Shiftry was too necessary. So like up until that point, I was fine, and then I think the last 3 picks is where I really fucked up. I didn't go with what I wanted to do, which was take a strong fairy type. Screamtail was what I was going to do.
Yeah.
Screamtail and then Cryogonal were kind of the 2 types. I really wanted to get an ice type in there at some point. Um,
You got this big
and
boner
then I
for
look at
clicking Aurora Veil against
uh,
only
no,
Ian, I think.
that's not it either. That's not it either. But I think Frostmoth I saw towards the end and I was like, this I was like kind of cool too. I like it a lot, and that was the plan. Was I wanted to pivot off of that, and I was looking at other fairy types, and then I was just like, oh, this like Diancie character seems pretty cool. And then I looked and I was like, I feel like it's just always going to be defensive, nothing too crazy. And I was like, well, why don't I just spend 2 points instead of 10 and get Carbink? And then I was going to use that as like a kind of like a wall. It had baton pass. So I was just like, well, I get Carbink for 8 points less, and then I can pick an 8-pointer. And I did that. And then I saw that Carbink did not have baton pass. And then I was just like, this Pokemon is useless. Like someone can just set up on it. Like it's still specially defensive. It can take a hit. It's a fairy type. Like the only stats that were different were at 100 or 50 special attack and attack compared to 100 special attack and attack, which is huge.
It's got Spike. It's
And
got
I was
Trick
just like, all
Room.
right,
Spike's Trick
okay,
Room. It gets.
Spike's Trick Room rocks, yeah. So
It's got.
it's not like terrible,
It's got
terrible. I think as
both
a 2-pointer,
screens.
it's still fine.
Learn Sunny
But
Day.
oopsies, I just did something. There we go.
Oh,
I think
Ryan.
it's still fine, but
Ryan. Hang on. You got Misty Explosion for Momentum.
oh yeah, hell yeah, that's true too.
Do you know about that?
Yeah, isn't it the 100 base power fairy explodes?
Yeah.
Then
You got that for
yeah,
Momentum. There you go. You're hanging out.
yeah. We're okay. It's not as useless as I thought, but I'd much prefer the other 2 options that I was thinking of. I think I'm excited to use Frostmoth though. I think that Pokemon was something I didn't really see, and I think it's kind of cool. And then as an 8-pointer is the end of the draft.
Alola is
what does that
great.
want to see? Alola is a good Pokemon, and I'm just looking at my team. I'm like, when am I gonna bring it? You know what I mean? Uh,
Every
so
week. No, I don't
that
know.
was my main thing. But
Alola's good, dude. Alola
at
is
the end of the
good.
day, I was a little disappointed at the end of my draft. I really wanted something strong, like a stronger fairy type. I for some reason just pivoted off of that. I I don't know how to use Alola at all, other than just it's a regenerator kind of tanky Pokemon that learns Flip Turn. It's slow. That's kind
That's
of why I picked it.
that's what it does.
So it's good with momentum. So I think it'll be fine. I really only think that Carbink is going to be useless in my team,
Okay.
and I think the other 10 Pokemon I can potentially bring. Diplin's gonna show itself every once in a while, but probably not a lot. Same thing with Frostmoth, but I think a lot of them, like, my team is overall, I feel like, deeper than a lot of others because I look at my top half and I have Great Tusk, Walking Wake, and then Sarah Ledge, like,
hmm
who's at 13
No,
points,
I
right?
agree. I
And
did
you
a
look at
I did a count the other day of so Ian has 9, Jimmy has 10, Riley has 10, AJ has 10. Galele's not bringable as much as you want to believe it is. It's not good enough, AJ. Um, I think I have 10. Jack has 10. You, if you're counting out Carbink, I think you're at like 10 and a half. Noah's the oddball at 7 for sure. Mark has 9, and Austin has 10. So I really don't think your team's that much deeper than everybody else's. If I am gonna be truthful with you, I think everybody this time drafted pretty. No, nobody drafted like super top heavy, barring Noah, and it's a lot. It's gonna be a lot different than last draft.
so what I would say is I have more middling Pokemon that I feel like I can bring every week compared to other people. Like, you look at Jack, who has, like, his last. You said he has 10. When is he going to bring Electrode, Swallow, or Crocolore? Right? Like, those
Crocolores
Pokemon are.
Crocolore is ridiculously good. You don't know anything about Crocolore. Electrode also is faster than every single Pokemon on your team. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but it probably fucking is.
It is.
Yeah,
It's
there you
100%
go.
is.
Swalot, yeah, that Pokemon's pretty fake. It's a grounded poison type Pokemon. I'm not a fan of Swalot. I stick by that. Maybe he has 9 Pokemon. Swalot is fake. There you go. But Crocolore and Electrode are both excellent Pokemon. Everybody is of the opinion that Jack has the best team, pretty much. Honestly, I think Jack's draft is great. Let's go and talk about power rankings here. You said you had made some.
Oh, I did, yeah.
Mine are just off
Uh,
my dome. What do
okay.
you what do
Well,
you,
I
what do you
I
got
was gonna
here?
say, like, let's talk about everybody's team and at the end do power
No,
rankings.
no, 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 no. Give me your
You
power
want to do
rankings.
power rankings
That's what I
right
want.
away?
Yeah, and then we'll go in order from that.
I had you at 1.
You have me at
The reason
1.
I had Yep, the reason I had you at 1 was
Okay, I'm
mostly
interested.
because you have
Hang on.
Brock so
Ryan,
bad.
Ryan. Save it for the podcast. Give me the rest of the power rankings first here. I wanna react to those.
Okay. I have you at 1. I have Jack at 2.
Okay.
I have, I believe, Riley at 3. I have AJ at 4.
Okay. You're lower this time.
Ian at 5.
Wow, holy.
Noah at 6.
Jesus,
Me
Ryan.
at 7.
Where are you? Yeah.
Austin at 8. Jimmy at 9. Mark at 10.
All right. I
I don't
have
like starting with power rankings. I like to explain
No,
the
no, no.
reason.
We'll get there in a second here. Okay. I have Jack at 1. I have Riley at 2. So this is a good bit different than last time. I have AJ at 3. I have myself at 4. Noah at 5. Hang on a second here. Yeah. Noah at 5. I think Noah and Ian are really, really close for me. I think that Ian's team's probably a little better. I'm gonna put Ian at 5 and then Noah at 6. So we're the same on that. Noah's team is really strong, but it obviously doesn't have any depth. I think that's obviously the big change there.
Mhm.
You at 7 again. I think this middle ground is super duper tight across the board here, and it's hard to really say. All right, so your 1 is me. Go ahead and tell me why I'm so sick, because I certainly don't think so.
All right. I think so. The main thing why I had you higher was you have a really strong team. A lot of your picks were not worth a whole bunch of points that I feel like are disgusting. Right? I think Sneasler, Blackdoor,
Sneasler and Gliscor both are disgustingly undervalued. I agree with you on that.
yeah. I even think Golden Go's undervalued.
Really? What
I
is
was
it?
really surprised.
I mean,
It's like 15. I'm pretty sure.
was he bang? Because you actually have used him a lot more. He's a 16-point Pokemon, by the way, so I really don't think he's
Okay.
as same as Sneasler. Sneasler, I think both of those Pokemon are actually realistically valued well, point wise. I think Gliscor is probably a little bit low at 14, but go on.
I think those three Pokemon are just going to be. I think Sneasler is probably one of the best Pokemon in the draft.
I agree.
I don't know how to deal with it unless you have Golden Go, and then you have Golden Go, right? Like, there's definitely some ways to do it, but that Pokemon is such a threat,
Yeah, it's a big dog.
um, that it's going to be really hard to deal with. I think Gliscor is disgusting. You can do it multiple ways, right? Like you said, you're not a huge fan of the annoying, toxic, protect, just kind of like whittle down your
Oh,
team.
that'll happen plenty.
Um,
Don't get me wrong.
I,
I'm
I,
here to
I
do cringe
agree.
shit with Gliscor.
I'm aware, but a Pokemon is not fun to play against. Golden Go, I think, is very versatile. I used him defensively, offensively. He has a whole bunch of different coverage moves. He's a Steel Ghost. You blocks all. Like can't
He's the best spin blocker.
defog. Yeah,
That was
spin
my whole
blocker
intention
essentially.
here was the best spin blocker, and then I wanted the Hisuian Samurott plus Gliscor. Gliscor, one of the best rock setters. Hisuian Samurott obviously gets Cecil's Edge to set up those spikes. That was kind of my whole game plan there, but then it didn't quite come to fruition. But yeah.
And then I have Roaring Moon. I think still strong Pokemon, right? With Torkoal.
Hmm.
I think it's still a little funky. You brought back Gothel. I will say Gothel is the reason I have you one compared to two. I
Wow.
think you're going to put in a whole bunch of more prep than anybody else.
Well,
I
I
think
don't know about that,
Gothel.
but
Okay, that's what I think. I
okay,
think
that's fine. That's
Gothel
fine.
kind of allows you to do that, and I know that was kind of like your MVP last season. I know you're not
Yeah,
like
at
the
the
biggest
end.
fan because you can't Terra anymore. I still think it's strong,
No,
right?
I agree that it is
And
still strong.
I don't remember. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I feel like you didn't even Terra that much with it.
Um,
Um,
I tarried with it pretty often, actually, especially at the end. Like against the most two important weeks for it by far were my last 2 weeks there against Riley and Noah, in which both times I tarried it, and then that was the whole agenda. It was like get it on X Pokemon. Forgot what it was against Riley. I think it was a Namarus. I think. Actually, I don't think I did tear it against a Namarus, so I think you're right about that. But then against Noah, it was good. Um it won me the game. That I Terra what I think it was water against the Rillaboom, and then got to hang out on the knockoffs, got to set up on that, and then it was also good against the Great Tusk as well. If he was on in the headlong rush agenda, if I had to hard switch, it lived the Terra Water. So it was really good like that. But I agree that it is still excellent.
so that was my main reason why I had you one. I had you and Jack basically on top of each other. I think Jack's team is absolutely terrifying as well. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, he's got a good team.
Maybe I'm not of the opinion. Like I guess I don't know much about Crocalor or
It's
Electrode. Like
a lot.
I know he's fast,
He
but
hits.
like
He hits hard. He's not his
he
Hisuian
has
Electrode.
80. He has 80 special attack.
All right, well, he's as hard as I thought he does, I guess. Well, hey, check this out
Yeah,
here.
he's super fast. He's super
Hisuian
fast.
Electrode, Ryan, also has 80 special attack, and we were really high on that Pokemon. So, they have the exact same stats.
Because it's faster.
They
I don't know.
they have the exact same stats. They're both 150. One is a grass type, and one is not. They're literally the exact same sub grass type on Hisuian Electrode, and then their move pool is different. Other than that,
What is Electrode's coverage? I mean, it's not a Terra Captain, which I think makes it
right.
much worse.
I agree.
Um,
Explosion,
so it's
discharge. We have yeah. You're right.
there we go.
It falls into the Regieleki syndrome here, in which it's gonna be basically there to click electric type moves. So you're not wrong about that. I like what you're saying there.
And that was kind of another reason I'm super scared of Gothel. I think it's not going to be a good time, and I think Jack's a little bit less deep than you. I'm
Cro-
excited to
Crocolor's
see
excellent.
Crocalor come out and fuck shit up because I don't know how it will,
It's just an
but I'm ready
Eviolite
for it.
Pokemon, Mega Tank. It gets Slack Off. It gets Yawn. It's just there to be really annoying. It's just a really tanky. It's just a bulky Yawn Pokemon basically, where
There we go.
it gets to hang out and win. Yeah, he actually switched. He was originally on the night of the draft. He was on the Electrode instead of the Crocalor Terra Captains, and then AJ and me talked him into Crocalor instead. So it kind of double-edged sword there. Obviously, like we were just saying, the Electrode has like no coverage then, so maybe that'll be kind of a weaker pick now. But I think Crocalor can excel so much when he's a Terra Captain because when he's just like as a fire type, not a really good defensive type. He's gonna have issues being a bulky Pokemon. But when he gets to Terra into what does he have here? Fairy or flying. Yeah, so to dodge stuff, it'll be pretty good. Let's see. Let's see.
But yeah, so
What do I have at
that
one and
was my
two
main
here?
thing
Yeah.
for you, Zach. And then I think Jack top half is strong.
I think
You
his
know,
first seven
like
picks are really fucking good,
it's
dude.
just like what? I don't know. I looked at his team and I said, how did you only spend, like
Mm-hmm.
80 points on that, right? Like, I don't understand. Aspion was a Terra captain that I was sleeping on. I
Espeon's
didn't realize how fast.
one of the better Terra
Yeah.
captains for sure. It's the Pokemon that like MV had do like some of the most work in the
Yeah.
SPL. Super
Getting
dangerous Pokemon.
getting the
Yeah,
best fairy type.
Clefable's busted.
Um, and then you've got, Annihilate, who's just a bulky
And,
physical attacker
and
too,
he's
with
got so
great
much
typing.
bulk too. That's the other crazy thing. His team is
Yeah,
so
it's
Annihilate, Clefable, even Espeon's pretty bulky. Empoleon, Donphan, Hisuian Gudra is disgustingly tanky. Crocolore
yeah.
also. He's got a fuckload of bulk. And then he's got a little bit of speed with the Meowscarada, kind of Electrode there as well. And then Espeon is this like middling speed tier. Like what is it exactly? Espeon 110's quite fast.
110 huge.
Quite
Yeah,
fast actually. So
110.
he's got pretty darn good speed control like that. Jack's team is excellent. I don't know. I think Jack's
I'd
team
say
is crazy.
the one reason why I had him at two as well, or another reason why I did, was I think his team is a little bit slower, right? You look at Annihilate Space 90, Espeon's 110, and then Meowscarada is 123, right? He's got two fast Pokemon, and the rest are like relatively slow,
I don't
right?
have a fast
So
team,
if
for example.
that's
My
that's fine. You have
Sneasler.
Sneasler.
Okay.
Roaring Moon's
Roaring
pretty
Moon.
fast.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I don't know. I think he is got a fantastic team. I have you two neck and neck. I had you at one because it got to tell
sure.
basically is kind of
Okay.
the thing that I pushed it up a little bit.
All right. So
And
we're
I think his bottom three are kind of
okay.
like his last three picks are they're all right. I'm terrified of his top seven. Probably the best first seven picks of the draft, and his bottom three I think were meh.
Crocodile is excellent. That one you're wrong about, unfortunately.
I'm yeah okay.
Riley. So our top four is the same for people. It's just in a different order here. So basically, you have me at one, and I have
Our
me
top
at
six. Our top six.
our top six even. Okay, sure. Okay, I didn't look that far. Um, so Riley, I have it two, and you have him at three here. I think Riley's team is the most annoying team by a country mile in this draft. It's going to be very frustrating to play against. I am not excited to play against Riley whatsoever. He needs to put in effort and prep, something that has hurt him in the past, where he doesn't put in as much as other people. But his team is stupid fucking good. He's got Mousehold again. This Pokemon is really really annoying. Mousehold is kind of interesting because people will just bring Rocky Helmet against it, and then maybe you can bring like Covert Cloak, but if you don't bring Loaded Dice, then Mousehold maybe is bad. So you're kind of in like a 50-50 in that almost there. We talked about Ogerpon Fire before, really stupid Pokemon. Um, and then he picked Ribombee, the best pick of his draft entirely, because he picked a team with no speed whatsoever, and he picked the best sticky web Pokemon ever made. So pretty smart by him there to do that. It's going to be really annoying. His team name is as bad as it could possibly be. He called himself the King Gambit. Just really, really bad team name from him. That's why I have him not at one here, because I think his team might be better than Jack's even. But his team name is so egregiously terrible. It should be the King's Gambit. And then for his picture, what you're going to want to do, guy, is find a chessboard where the King Gambit is being played, or the King's Gambit rather. There you go. Look, I'm pulling a Riley, just saying the King Gambit. So figure it out, guy. Change your team name. But other than that, your team's really good. I don't really know much about Volcanion. I think maybe you looked at that Pokemon a little bit. AJ said this Pokemon is stupid annoying.
It is really annoying.
And I believe that.
It's
Ursaluna Blood Moon
it's a
also.
water absorb. I know.
Yeah,
Was one of the things. I mean, fire water is just I think
it's good.
typing.
Yeah, I agree.
It's very bulky. It's slow. Like the rest of his team. But like,
His whole team
look at
is
its
slow.
stats. It are kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's super bulky. Mostly going to be used as a special attacker, but 110 base physical attack is pretty good too.
Maybe a little mixed action.
Yeah, he could do either. I think his coverage isn't the best. Is the one thing. Like I know it learns Earth Power.
Yep.
Um,
Earthquake
like
also.
Yeah. So
Flash
think,
Cannon,
like,
Focus Blast. Sludge Bomb, Stone Edge. This Pokemon is
more than I know.
Wild
Yeah,
Charge. It has great
it's
coverage.
really strong. It is great coverage. Water absorb, very annoying, right? I was surprised it wasn't taken in our last draft,
Yeah, I think
realistically,
the one
and it was
thing
one of the
here.
Pokemon I kind of wanted if I did not get what's it called? If I
Walking
didn't
Wake
get
maybe?
Walking Wake.
Yeah,
So like
okay.
if I took like Ogre from Fire and
Yeah.
Walking Wake didn't make it to me by 3, Volcanion would be very high, something that I was going to
I
grab
think the
because
only
it's
good
just
thing
really
for
strong.
our sake and the rest of the draft's sake with this Volcanion being, you spoke so highly of the water absorb. On the bright side, you don't want to click a water move into Riley's team. Period. It doesn't.
That's true.
You're not incentivized to. Like I picked good dark type to cover Sneasler's ass, or I told Austin to pick Ogerpon Water when he's picking. I told him to take Hisui and Arcanine instead of the Cinderace, but he likes Cinderace because of the soccer ring of it. So I
Yep.
said, make sure if because I know he wanted Ogerpon Water. I said, okay, so make sure you get a Pokemon where it covers its weakness really well, which I think Volcanion does not do on Riley's team. Mousehold's really annoying. Honchkrow basically just clicks Sucker Punch. He's just gonna Terra Dark with fucking black glasses on it or some shit. He did not do Terra Dark Honchkrow. He's trolling. He's trolling. He's trolling. Riley has one Terra Captain. Honchkrow's unbringable. Um, there you go. That is locked in now. Not actually.
I was gonna say, like,
He can still
I don't
change
know. I
it.
was gonna say, Honchkrow's kind of
Honchkrow's
faulty. You
he's
know what I mean? Like,
no, the Pokemon
oh,
folds.
he has
Oh,
52.
he
Never mind.
dies to anything, and he only clicks Sucker Punch. That's all it does. It clicks Sucker Punch, and he didn't do Terra Dark, which is ridiculous. So that's a grief by him, I think. Sinatra is the most annoying Pokemon in the entire fucking
Yeah.
world.
Yep.
Egregiously annoying. A Pokemon that I kind of wanted also, truth be told, but I have an annoying team,
It was on. It was on my DAR. It
so
was on
here
my
I
DAR.
am. I like it because
Didn't win AWOL.
it's about tea. I like tea, but
I think Phalanx is awesome.
Phalanx is
I'm
awesome.
excited.
Not
I'm excited to see that Pokemon
not
be
the best
used.
Pokemon, but that's why it's down
He's
there in the
so
low
cool though.
points. He is cool.
Yeah.
No Retreat is sick. And then King Gambit, obviously, we kind of skipped over that. I made fun of Riley's team, but the Pokemon itself is really, really good. That part I will not deny, especially under webs too, where you're not forced into like the Sucker Punch agenda, which is what Sam had, which was worked relatively well. Like when you can start not 50-50ing and start clicking Iron Head and Kowtow Cleave instead, Pokemon's gonna be a beater. And then at 3-4 here with you and me for AJ. AJ's team also is ridiculous. I'm on the Cloth agenda. Cloth is a Pokemon I've got a big boner for now.
I'd
Um,
love to know why Cloth is good because
it's not. It's
I looked
not.
at it. Okay, there we go.
It's it's it's
I was
cool.
wondering what.
It's a cool Pokemon. But it's not very good. We basically were getting excited about it. AJ and I were laddering on OU with like his team. He had like Greninja, Garchomp, Petran, Azelf, Bellabolt, Cloth. And then we just had a banded slap a band on Cloth, Terra Water, Crabhammer, Stone Edge, Earthquake maybe, and then like knockoff. And then he's just like not that good of a Pokemon, so when it would pick up some kills, it was cool. It's the team name, or it's his mascot kind of here going forward. AJ City's gonna try and keep this team name, so maybe Cloth will make a reoccurrence in future drafts. But the Dallas Cloth boys, AJ's team I like quite a bit here. Greninja is ridiculously versatile. This thing has 3 good abilities that it can take with Protein, Battle Bond, and then even Torrent is halfway reasonable. It's weaker than the other two, but it could definitely throw somebody off guard. And AJ's been really creative with his sets recently. At the end, he got really that was kind of his thing. I think AJ will do the most prep. You mentioned me doing some of the most prep earlier, and I think that AJ will actually be the guy that preps the most. I know he's already planned on most of his team here for week 1 with Mark, but Greninja is really good. Garchomp's a beast. Didn't went undrafted last draft. I was excited to see it here. Heatran is got 2 good abilities it can take, and it's annoying. Azelf's got speed. The Bellabolt. The Bellabolt, this thing is a Pokemon. This Pokemon that you also wanted, and
Thank
bro,
you.
it's the most annoying Pokemon. Holy fuck! I almost picked it just so you guys couldn't have it. Okay, it's ridiculously annoying, and he's got it as a Terra Captain as well, so it's pretty good that way where it can not just die to a fucking ground type move. Like what does he have here? He's got electric, water, fairy. So he's got the water. He's got the fairy. His fairy type ended up being relatively weak with Florges. It's not terrible, but it's not one of the better ones for sure. Grafaiai, he doesn't have like a really easy way to proc Unburden. which is something that's a little bit weaker, I think. Like Noah, he's I think for unburdened Pokemon that were drafted, myself, the Grafaiai, myself with the Sneasler, and then Noah took Hawlucha, which is a little bit better than Grafaiai for unburdened, and then Noah has the Rillaboom. So him and me are both on the grassy terrain sort of agenda. But the Grafaiai, I don't know if it's going to get that active via unburden. He'll have to age out to do something kind of more cute. Uh, Girder's really good Terra Captain as well. This Pokemon is great. Clicks Bulk Up, clicks Drain Punch, hangs out. Got his access priority with Knock Punch. And then Galeli's fake as well. I know AJ joked about the only reason he took it was like against Noah's team for the stupid Jirachi with the Serene Grace Iron Head. Glalie has like inner focus, so it can't be flinched. It was something like that.
Oh,
But I don't know if that's gonna be real or not. AJ's team though,
Steel super effective against ice anyway, and it's just gonna die.
I don't know.
Like,
I am not here to say if it's gonna work or not, but it was something that he mentioned at the draft, which Noah he told Noah about it also, so that was kind of funny. Then I have my Silver 4, but we talked about me instead. So I think my team is actually probably better than I'm giving it credit for. Um, and I think you overvalued me, but obviously I put my Silver 4, so of course that's gonna be my opinion. I think I'm really pricing to bring Sneasler, Gliscor, Golden Go every week, and then I have like these little packages where I can bring Thwackey if I need extra speed with Sneasler. I can bring Torkoal Roaring Moon together for more speed. So that's kind of the only awkward thing there. If I want extra speed, I have to bring some of these like lesser Pokemon like Torkoal and Thwackey. But other than that, I think Bruxish will probably be an all-star, be my guess. A Pokemon that I undervalue, but really did a lot of work when we were doing this testing. So we'll see about that. And then you and me both have 5 and 6 exactly the same here. So Ian's team, let's talk about that.
I'd like to talk about AJ's team.
Okay. Oh, totally forgot about you. Yeah, go ahead.
That's
Go
totally fine.
go off.
I had AJ at 4. The main reason I thought his top 3 were probably one of the 3 best picks of the draft for the first 3. I think all 3 of those Pokemon are super versatile. Like Keytron can be both defensively, offensively. He's got great typing and Fire Steel. Garchomp, I don't really have to explain because you kind of did it too. I thought his first 3 were awesome. Azelf also a good Pokemon. Don't get me wrong. I thought his back half of the draft was weak, and that's why I had him at 4. The 2 lower tier Pokemon that I kind of wanted were Bellibolt and, or not wanted, but looked at a decent amount. Bellibolt, I think if it fell to me, I probably would have taken it towards the end, but I knew it wouldn't, and I wasn't going to prioritize it. I think Bellibolt's super annoying. I think Bramblegast is a fake spinner. I don't know that the Pokemon, after looking at it, like doesn't
Yeah,
do
it's not.
anything.
It's there to click Poltergeist and Power Whip, not less so Rapid Spin, I think. Which does he have anybody else
Uh,
that Girder gets defogged, so he's got a couple ways to
he's
clear here.
it's fine, right? It's like a 7 pointer, I think. Like it's not gonna be that great. I looking into if I didn't get great touch because of the back half, I looked at a whole bunch of different type of spinners, and I just didn't like Brambleghast at all. Bellibolt's strong. I think Florges. I don't know what that Pokemon's doing other than having super high special defense.
I think it's Baton
I don't
Pass.
know, and yeah, I guess
That's really important, but whatever.
it does. It does. Yeah. Um. So I think it's fine. I agree with you that it's a weaker fairy type. It's not going
Trick,
to be doing a
Wish.
whole lot. Its special attack is a little bit higher, but like you just bring a physical attacker and that thing is not going to do
It's a
much
it's a
against
Wish
you.
passer. That's what it's there for. It gets Wish and it gets Pass, and it also can Trick if you want to do a fun Scarf set with it. That would be reasonable as well. So.
Graphite I also liked a lot. Not as much as an Unburden. I thought Prankster
Oh
would be
yeah,
better,
that's true. Yep.
realistically. That's the only reason that I brought it. I didn't think it was going to do much as an unburdened Pokemon. I don't know. Um, so I think it's a relatively good Pokemon, but I don't know, like nothing's screaming to me that like these are awesome. Girder, I saw like one video of as a Terra Captain in the Shuckle Premier League.
Dude,
Thought that was
Gerda's used.
cool. I think he'll be okay, but like other than his first 3 picks, nothing's just like, oh my god, I'm scared of AJ's team. So that's why I have him realistically. I think his first 3 are awesome,
I fear
and
Bellabolt.
nothing about his other. I think Bellybell's strong too. Yeah, don't get me wrong,
Dude.
but like
And
I
I
don't know. I feel like the rest of these Pokemon are not scary, not that great. But it'll still be super hard to prep for him, and I think that was kind of why I had him at 4
Yes, it's
and not
very
in the other tiers
just
of
for
like the
Greninja,
class.
dude. Prepping for Greninja is basically impossible. Holy
You
fuck.
just don't. You just don't,
Well,
right? Like,
you
because
do
almost at
you
the
do a
end of the
little
day,
bit, but yeah, you definitely don't put that much thought into it because it is that hard. Uh,
so yeah, I think his team's good. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I think the other three that I mentioned above are just a little bit better, and hence why I have them at 4. Yeah.
okay, so our 5 and 6 are exactly the same here. Ian is first. Ended up doing this Slowking Galar Excalibur package, something that I was really high on for most of the talking about the draft. Slowking Galar was going to be my first pick overall if I did not get Sneasler to me. So something, and then hoping to get backs on the wheel. And then I would take
Why
him
didn't you just pick Slowking at 2 if it fell to you?
because
You know what I mean?
Gliscor is insane. That's why. Ian was gonna take
Then
Gliscor otherwise.
why wouldn't Gliscor be your first pick then? If it's more insane than Slowking,
Because I wanted
you know what I mean?
I wanted Sneasler is my first pick, so that makes sense, right?
Mhm.
And then Gliscor is a Pokemon that I don't know, right? It just kind of my draft just changed when I got to Sneasler. So when I
I
got
know.
Sneasler instead,
I'm messing with you. I
so
think it's just funny that you wanted Slowking at 1, and then it came back to you at 2, and you didn't take it. But yeah,
because I
it's
had
totally fine.
because I had Sneasler then, and my agenda was different because now I have to build around Sneasler as opposed to building around like this Gloking Excalibur core. So that's the difference there. Thank you very much. Anywho, Ian
Yeah.
got it. He also first picked Dragapult, the Pokemon that I had last draft. As it was back to back here overall first overall pick in the draft, and the Pokemon is pretty good. It didn't do that crazy amount much for me, but I used it pretty poorly. I think most of the draft. Hopefully Ian doesn't fall into the same pattern I did with that. Just slap a fucking choice scar or a choice band on it or a choice specs on it and click moves is what I think you're gonna want to do with that Pokemon most of the time. But I didn't do that. I tried to get a little too cute with it. He's got these two dragons. As you knew what his team was, it was like his team name is like two dragons. I don't know what this two wolf meme is. Have you ever heard of that before? There are
I
two
haven't.
wolves.
No.
There are two wolves inside of you. Know your meme. One is gay, the other is gay. Hysterical. I don't know. That was his team name that he did. That he based it off of. So I like that he at least made a picture already and it's got a team name going. But there are two dragons. Yeah, so that is obviously a little bit weaker with the double dragon here. He has good steel types to cover for it in good being halfway relative, but he's got Bisharp as well as Fortress to cover the grounds there, so you're not just going to click fairy type moves against him and clean up, which is nice, as well as Slowking eats up fairy type moves as well. So he's got good stuff there. This Bisharp I think is relatively fake. He's smart, unlike Riley. He put Terra Dark on it because that Pokemon just clicks Sucker Punch. Kind of an awkward Pokemon because it's now not fully evolved in King Gambit, and you want to just stick an Easy Light on it, but you also want it to be an attacker, so it's a little bit awkward that way. Fortress is excellent. The Pokemon I was looking at. Go ahead.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like I don't know really what Bisharp does. I just feel like he's just a cheaper King Gambit
Clicks
without the
Sucker Punch.
amazing. Well, yeah, but without the amazing ability. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
it's a lower.
so I
It's like the best Pokemon in OU versus the unevolved form of it, right? It's gonna be worse. I mean, what do you want?
okay. I don't know. I was wondering what it did. It's kind of my main thing
Click
because
Sucker
it
Punch.
wasn't like too. How many points was it?
I don't know. We'll have to look.
8,
9.
9.
It's got good
Yeah.
stats. Bisharp used to just be like a good Pokemon. That was like they made King Gambit like one of the best Pokemon ever, and now it's worse because why wouldn't you just evolve it? Um,
Sure.
but it's still pretty good. Fortress is excellent. It's a rabbit spinner I was really high on and was hoping to get, but didn't get to. Love that it gets full twitch. It's really nice that way. You can even do like Custap Explosion with it, which is pretty cute. He's got Baby Gothorita, Pokemon that I used in our Gen 5 draft, even though it didn't last that long, and this Pokemon's ass. Just total cheeks, not good at all. Um, it's so much worse than Gothitelle. It's not even funny. Gothitelle, I basically took leftovers every single week on it. You need the leftovers for survivability, but you're priced into taking stupid
Eviolite.
Eviolite on Gothorita. So the way he'll use it is much different than me. It's a way that I could use Gothitail also, but I didn't end up doing in our last draft, which is just like Scarf Trapper, where it's just a good revenge killer. So he'll probably have to do that with Gothorita more so. It'll have Trick, it'll
It's
have
got the
Scarf.
craps. Yeah, okay.
Well, it's
It's
just
kind of
there
crap then.
to like you'll bring it in against a Pokemon that's low, and you'll click a Choice Scarf Psychic against it, and it'll kill it, and then you'll die afterwards. It's just a revenge killer. It's a trapper. It doesn't get to do the same things like Gothitelle does with like the hard trapping and then just like setting up. It doesn't get to do that. Um, so it is a lot worse than that. Chimecho, look out! This was our one of the all stars of the like 15-point draft that we did. Um, Chimecho's dangerous for a one pointer, but
I agree. That was one thing that I really liked because I think he got the best one pointer
yeah,
that there was. I mean, mostly I think it's strong just because it learns Heal Bell,
yeah, I agree. I yeah,
and Levitate
I agree.
and Levitate, right? Like it's a immunity ground, which he didn't take until Lando,
Yep.
which like at the time when I picked it, I was like, oh yeah, that's a great pick right there.
hmm
But yeah, I think overall strong one pointer. Don't think it's going to be that great. I don't think we're going to see it that often. But against teams that have a whole bunch of status, like potentially even against you and your Sneasler, right? Like if you accidentally sleep 3 people, I could see Chimico coming in there and being one of
That doesn't happen though. Nobody's getting Derek Claw sleeps like that. But maybe I will. Maybe I'll be the lucky guy.
you will be the lucky guy.
I hope so. Fuck yeah. I'd love to fuck everybody with sleeps. Lando's really good. Pokemon Nature had last draft. Great Intimidate user. Good momentum with U-turn. And it clicks buttons also. Decidueye Hisuian, I don't really know much about this Pokemon. I think it's fighting in something type, but
Yeah, it is. I looked at it a couple times. It was cool. I really liked
fighting grass.
it's a signature move. I thought was cool. Triple arrows, 90 power fighting type with a high crit.
Scrappy's also a great ability. It does get to click fighting type moves against ghosts, but yeah.
Yeah. I think triple arrows was really cool. I thought that move was good. It was bulkier than I thought too. Like relatively decent
Yeah,
bulk
yeah,
for its low speed.
it's decent.
I thought it was okay. Wasn't something I was probably gonna pick, but I looked into it because I was just like, cool. It's a grass type.
hmm
It didn't have one afterwards.
And I'm pretty sure
But yeah,
Luminion is completely fake.
useless.
I mentioned it earlier. It does have Storm Drain, so that is
Water absorb. Yeah.
it is it's better water absorb, but yeah. But you like I was mentioning with Riley's Volcanion, you're not incentivized to click a water type move into against Landorus kind of. Obviously, you'd rather click an ice move into it as it's quad effective, super effective rather, as opposed to the double if you click like Hydro Pump on it. But then you have to bring Luminion, which is basically useless otherwise. So probably not going to get brought ever, be my guess. Six, we both have Noah here. Noah's 7 that he has, his top 7, like ignore Glimmet, Delibird, Hippotas. His top 7 are the best. If you put everybody's first 7 picks into the draft, Noah has the best 7 by a mile. It's not even close.
Yeah.
But, of course, he has the issue. Why are his greens not the same color? That shit's pissing me off. But, like, the Glimmet's so... What's going on? I'm going to change these. But, like, come on, dude. Figure your shit out. Anywho, the Jolteon's too light. Actually, it's one too light. Oopsie, I just did the wrong one.
Talk
Anyhow,
about Ian real quick before we get to
Ian,
Noah.
we just talked about Ian.
You just talked about Ian.
You also said things. Go on.
Yeah.
Tell me about Landorus, because that was we totally talked about it.
The reason I had him at 5 was
Oh,
I
okay.
thought he had 4 of some of the best Pokemon there, right? Like with Dragapult, Slowking, Vax, and Lando.
Yeah.
I don't see how those are not going to be brought every single week.
I agree.
I thought him having no Fairy was a mistake. I know you talked about having 2 Steel types that are relatively good. Don't think Fortress is that great. Personally,
It's not like
I
it's not
know
like a
you.
steel type Pokemon, you know. It's more like it's just
Yeah.
it is steel type, so that's not nothing, and it is good. I
Mhm.
mean, it sets hazards. It volt switches out. It takes hits. It's probably better than you're giving it credit for.
Probably. I just don't think the rest of his team is that great. I see 4 great Pokemon, and then I see, I would say 4 other meh Pokemon, and then 2 mostly useless Pokemon.
I
So
agree.
I think his team's not that deep. I think he probably has 4 of the best, like top heavy
Yeah.
in those 4. But the rest of it, like I don't know. Having two dragons, I think, is also a weakness.
I agree.
With no strong fairy type. But his team's still scary, right? I think he's super fast still. Has a whole bunch of good checks is the other thing. Slowking is probably one of the best defensive pivots there is. I think Fortress is relatively good defensively. He's like super strong physical defense, right? But
Yeah.
kind of gets melted by special attack. Um, Quad weakness to fire, which will be nice for me. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my overall thoughts on why he's fine. I think his team's strong. Don't get me wrong, but nothing that makes me think that he's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. And then I also don't know much about Ian as a player. He talks a big game, but we haven't seen him play
That's
yet,
true.
so I
That's
don't
true.
know. Which isn't really part of my power ranking agenda here. Like I think Jack is probably we have him at 1 and 2, and I think that Jack is I've seen him play like random battles, and he's not the best player in the world. It seemed like he was getting better towards the end, but his draft prep was really good. I saw his draft prep specifically, and that was like excellent. So I do have pretty high hopes for him. Noah's team though, Noah's got a pretty annoying team, but on the bright side, you get to know what he's bringing each week. Is the
Yep.
gist?
You've got like one thing that you don't know what he's going to bring. I feel like it's the
Yeah,
Zoroark and the Grimmsnarl. I feel like the rest, like when you not, maybe you won't bring Jolteon as Terra Captain too.
no chance. No
Every
chance.
once in a while, but like
You'd always bring that.
I don't know. Noah I had at 6 mostly because even his top 7 is this is what I said.
Yeah.
I don't see how they're worth 97.
They're fucking
I
insane. That's how. I think you're crazy, bro. Holy
I
crap!
I think this Halucha is like meh. Grimmsnarl I
Halucha's
think is very nice.
insane. Halucha's so good.
It's just the worst
It's the
unburdened
second
Pokemon.
best unburdened Pokemon. The first one is Sneasler though. One of the
I
best
know.
Pokemon in the draft. Halucha's really, really good, and he's got the good Volt Absorber with Jolteon to cover its bases. It's he's got a well-built 7. Hisuian Zoroark, I think, is probably his weakest of the 6, the one that won't get brought the most. Um, because he doesn't. Was excited about getting Hisuian Zoroark. Potentially, I built a couple of drafts around it, but it doesn't like cover anything. Like you want to pick like Weavile or like Tyranitar with it, and then Tyranitar is bad because it gets Sandstream on nerves, so you'll know that it's not the that Pokemon right away. But Pokemon where you want to click a fighting type move against it, and then Noah doesn't have that Pokemon, so it is weaker in that regard. But dude, no, he's got crazy Pokemon. He's got crazy Pokemon, dude. No chance. Oh my god. He's got the returning Rillaboom, Pokemon that was so good for him. And Jirachi's really annoying, and Jolteon's insane, and Iron Valiant's insane. I don't know. I think we both have him probably too low at 6, but it's just because the people have to keep him at 6. People need to prep quite well against him. Like you have to be actively doing your prep and prepping well because you know what he's gonna bring. But if you don't prep well, you're gonna get fucking smoked because he's gonna bring 6 Pokemon that are crazy powerful.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of right. I had him at 6. I guess I'm not as high on his team as you are. The main thing I'm worried about, honestly, is the Hisuian Zoroark. I
Really,
feel like he's a very good Pokemon player, and I
I
think
agree.
that's going to catch people off guard,
Hmm.
especially in a best of one.
Yes,
I think it becomes even stronger.
it doesn't.
Jirachi, super annoying Pokemon.
So
Grimmsnarl, to me, I mean, this is only me seeing on a ladder. I feel like it's just kind of like a prankster setter, right? Screen setter.
yeah,
Um,
hang on here. You're
and
like,
then like there, but if you know that, you can bring Brick Break. You know what I mean? Or
yeah,
Psychic Bangs.
yeah. You're talking.
Um,
That is sensible. You're not wrong.
so I don't know what
But
else it really does.
hold on,
Jolteon definitely.
hold on, Ryan. I
Oh,
might blow your mind in a second here.
mhm.
Let me look at Hisuian Zoroark real quick here. Let me look at. All right, thank God for the entire draft league. Hisuian Zoroark does not get screens. Can you imagine if you set up screens with Hisuian
Oh,
Zoroark as Grimmsnarl and you go to Brick Break it and then it doesn't work and then you piss your pants and then you lose the game on the spot? But no, thank God for that. It does not get that shit. So we are at least surviving. Holy cow, that would have been insane. But yeah,
that would be insane. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess I'm lower on Halusha than you are. I really haven't seen this Pokemon ever be played. Um, But to me, I'm looking at its stats. It's fast. It's going to get super fast with Unburdened, but already like a base 118 speed outspeeds most of the cats
Yeah, but it
Pokemon.
outspeeds like Scarfers then and shit is the thing.
Yeah, yeah, true. But like I don't know, like 92 physical attack doesn't do much to me. I mean, does it have
It, it,
like
it,
sword dance or
it,
like
yeah,
victory dance?
it has sword stance. It clicks acrobatics is basically what it's there to do. It's clicking acrobatics
Yeah.
and it's clicking fucking whatever it's called, close combat and shit. But yeah, Pokemon bangs.
Okay.
Watch out for Lucha.
Okay,
Noah,
I will. But
he,
I
he-
have him. I have him at 6 also because it's Noah, right? Like that guy always just comes in and wins games.
yeah, well,
So,
I'd fucking up him then,
um,
right? I don't know. Noah seems crazy.
okay,
Yeah.
7. I talked about my team. You talked about my team now.
7. Yeah, so we both have you at 7, which is I don't know. I think all of these middle people this time are way close. That was kind of the deal last time. It was smaller. Obviously, we have 10 people as opposed to 8 people last time. But I think last draft the 4 was like um fucking Austin, Noah, Riley, and maybe it was you. I don't remember. But we kind of clumped 4 people into a group then, and I'm kind of doing the same thing here with you, Noah, and Ian. I think you guys are super interchangeable. Um, but yeah, your team, we talked a lot about it at the beginning, obviously. Austin's team, Austin drafted after the fact. He came to me and was like, "Hey, do you want to even up the numbers? I'm willing to just draft now." And I agreed. It seemed pretty reasonable. Dodge the bye week. That's his team name. Pretty funny. Um, and then me and AJ a little bit less so, but at the very end, me and AJ helped Austin kind of build his team after the fact because I just wanted him to have like a reasonable team because he's so unversed in like regular Pokemon. He's just got a boner for Stall, and that's all he ever plays. So I think Austin's got a pretty well built team. Obviously, he's got weaker. He doesn't have big all stars like some of these other teams do, um, because he drafted after the fact. But he still ended up with
Mhm.
like a lot more middling Pokemon, where his 10 are quite good. I think Austin probably should be higher than 8, but I don't know, man. It's so hard to quantify people here, and because Cinderace is great, Ogerpon's great, Quackable's great, Screamtail's great, and then he's got this Hisuian Sliggoo, which we kind of discovered and are pretty high on. I think
Good sunny day.
that was yeah, big. That's a 2 pointer that'll rock your world, dude. Hisuian Sliggoo
Yeah.
is absolutely crazy town. Really, really annoying. We were doing some like numbers testing for it, and it's fucking egregious. Uh, his two Terra Captains kind of bang, I think. Dragalge is a super sick Pokemon with adaptability, and then he has yeah, he did. So Dragon, Fairy, Steel are his sick Dragalge Terra types. Love that from this guy. Bug Ground Dark for his Scyther. Okay, makes a lot of sense there. I think I probably would have done Scyther having flying as one of them also, and maybe just double up on the stab again. But Dragalge is really sick. Screamtail bangs the fast encore. He's got this double like he's got like this half water with Ogerpon and then a full with Quackable, and that was kind of awkward when I was helping him build his team. I was trying to like get this core going, and then it was
Said I want these 2 water types.
yeah. So he's got like two like half water types with Appleton and Ogerpon, which kind of covers the base there. But Austin seems I don't know. I think Austin seems really pretty good. I'm a little bit more attached to it because of my helping to build it, even though it does look relatively different than the 10 that I brought to him and saying, hey, this is what you should draft, I think. I don't know. What do you think about it?
So I liked. I know we talked about this before, like right when it was just like me, you, and Austin talking about it, and Austin
Hmm.
said, "Yeah, I'll definitely come in if I can draft after the fact." I think there's definitely more uh, pro or cons than pros, but I do think it's really interesting to kind of come in afterwards and you see this entire pool of Pokemon you can work with,
Yeah,
and you're not really under
I agree. It is
like.
definitely weaker than it's not an advantage at all. So that's why
I think it's cool though.
I wasn't too worried about it. Yeah.
I think it's cool though, because this way you can be like, all right, I've got all these Pokemon, I don't have to worry about somebody
Yeah.
accidentally taking, by Cinderace and Ogerpon
Mhm.
water in the first draft, and now the rest of my draft is
And
completely screwed up.
he drafted a pretty cool team as well. I know
Hmm.
he was really excited about the two Pokemon that he like or the three rather that he really wanted were Cinderace, Ogerpon, Water, and then Quackable. So that was great that they all got left up. I think that incentivized him to say yes, I will do it. which is nice for our numbers here, as well as we just want to include Austin, of course. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I like his team quite a
I
bit.
do
He's
too. I like Scream Shell Sandy Shocks with Cinderace. I definitely can see some of his lower tier Pokemon pretty tanky. Like I'm pretty sure Hisui and Sligo just clicks or has Eviolite and is also super tanky. With that,
correct.
uh, has all right special attack is what it seems.
Yeah, it's just
And
there
Dragon
to
Steel,
tank
right?
hits basically. It's there to tank hits, but
Does it? It does not learn Baton Pass, so it
no,
can't be used to
no,
like to do that. But
it's
I think it's pretty strong
yeah.
still, and it learns Sunny Day. So that is something where I look at his
Whoa!
team and I say I could see him running Sunny Day with
Every Pokemon learns
Cinderace.
Sunny Day.
Well, I know, but like this Pokemon is just gonna tank hits. What else is it gonna do other than maybe set up the sun once? Yeah, I don't know. Where I think that is an option that maybe you guys didn't talk about, and me being the Sun guy,
Yes,
seeing
we definitely didn't talk about
photosynthesis
that.
users
You're not wrong.
and Cinderace being something that I could see. But
No,
anyways,
you're the only one that thinks Sunny Day plus Cinderace is a combo, though. That is the only thing.
it's a fire. It's a strong fire type.
Look
That's all I
out!
gotta say. With a 100 base power move that is pretty good in Fire
Holy.
Ball.
Alright,
All right.
Hisui
Anyways,
and Sulu, I'm looking once here. So Hisui and Sulu does not get body press like I believe its evolved form does, so it doesn't get to do acid armor body press, which is a big threat from what Noah has with or not Noah, no what Jack has rather with Hisui and Gudra. But yeah, and then we have 9 and 10 here. Jimmy's team. He just drafted a couple of silly Pokemon, I think. I think at the end he was asking for advice, and we ended with Dragonite Lucario, and I think his team got a lot better. Um, but I don't know. I really wish he would have drafted a Slush Rusher with Alolan Ninetales. I was wanting Tatsugiri myself, so that was a nice snipe from him. I think if I didn't, that might have saved your Torkoal. I think. Like, which direction would that be? Bop, 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 bop. Yeah,
yeah, no, it looks
that
like the two
that
spinners has
I I
UYK
I
right before the
I think
Torkoal.
that would have saved your Torkoal honestly. If I would have gotten that. So unlucky for you there. But I don't know. His team's got a couple goofy Pokemon. Like I'm low. I'm pretty low on Mesprit. I'm pretty low on Rotom. Quillfish is decent. It got a lot better at the end with Dragonite Lucario. I think Jimmy might be the weakest player as well. It sounded like maybe the least experience, but his team's pretty good. Chiu's a threat. It doesn't get to Terra anymore. Like AJ had it as such a monster threat last time, just like Terra Dark or Terra Fire, just clicking these huge crazy moves and busting people open. Alolan Ninetales is obviously great. The Aurora Veil Pokemon, that's what it's going to be doing every single time. But Dragonite and Lucario, those are real Pokemon at the end. His middle draft is kind of the goofy part, right? It looks like look at his first two and his last two, and I'm like, hey, look at that, that's serious. And then his middle is like, okay, Mesprit, what the fuck's that doing? At least in my eyes.
So I like Bombeard here. I said, what is this Pokemon when I saw it as a Terra Captain, and I think it is cool.
Mountaineer is sick. Yeah, I'm glad that he listened to me and put Rock as one of its types. If you've seen the
Was he
ability,
not gonna do it?
correct.
Oh my gosh! I
Yeah,
thought that was the whole reason he picked it as a
yeah.
Terra Captain.
Of course, you would think when looking at this Rocky Payload move here that you just like slap a choice band on it and then slap Rocky Payload on it and then make it Terra Rock and then click like Stone Edge or some shit or whatever the fuck this thing gets.
Hmm.
Power Gem, Rock Blast, Rock Slide, Stone Edge. There you go. So click that. It probably does like 18 billion damage, which is sick.
I thought it was really cool.
It is cool.
But yeah, I'm with you. The rest of the team looks meh. I think his Alolan Ninetales is not going to be that great because he doesn't have anything that's good with the
You don't
snow
need to
and
combo it.
similar.
I think you're priced into it to do it, but you really don't. I mean, he has
But
a
the other thing too is again, people that like the Pokemon that are on the ladder that are really strong that use the screens, the Aurora Veil and stuff like that. Most of your Pokemon are not taking some sort of thing to break the screens. When you look at Alolan Ninetales, I'm gonna have multiple Pokemon that are gonna break screens. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like
You're right.
that's
You are right. Yeah, you're not wrong.
that's my assumption. I think Chiyu was a lot weaker than AJ thought, especially without the Terra. I don't
Hmm.
think that Pokemon's going to be fantastic. I
Okay.
mean, AJ was talking about how he felt like he had a quick choice scarf on it every single week, right?
Right.
And so I don't know how good that's going to be. The Spirit, I think, had no clue that was like
No.
a decent Pokemon. Tatsuguri was one of the 4 pointers that I liked a lot because of Storm Drain. It was a Dragon type. Thought it was better than a 4-pointer in Round 9.
Tosiger is a great pick
Uh,
by him. That I will say.
yeah, I like that a lot. Rotom, no clue where that's coming from.
That was
Just
that was
somebody
super
that.
funny. We did when we were drafting. He was like, okay, I don't know what to pick here. I want an electric type, and then he did like a fucking what was it? It was I'm trying to think like the wheel thing when I was selecting the order, and he put Rotom, Zapdos, and Galarian Zapdos in there, and then we all thought,
No.
and then we all thought, oh okay, because it was Rotom at first, and we said, why don't you just take Zapdos instead or something, dude? Like you have so many points, and then it landed on Zapdos, and then he said, I'm just kidding around. I was always taking Rotom, so he was just fucking around with us, which is hysterical. But
That is really funny.
yeah, so Rotom is not gonna be that crazy. The Quillfish I think is actually pretty decent. Quillfish does not get to hold Eviolite. Can't talk. Eviolite. We looked into that. It is not. Hisuian Quillfish does, but not regular Quillfish. So, but the Pokemon, it kind of clicks moves a little bit. It gets Toxic Spikes, which is nice. Not everybody, I don't think, ended up with a grounded Poison type Pokemon. Like Riley does not. I'm seeing AJ.
Most people have a steel type,
AJ
but I
does
guess the steel
not.
type can't.
It doesn't get rid of it though, right? That which
Yeah, he has Graphite.
oh yeah, okay, Triggerfy.
Trigger's
There
good.
you go. We have Swalot from Jack. You have Rivaroom.
Ian
Noah.
and Slowking, yeah.
Noah does not. Mark. Maybe there's an Oricorio form. I don't know. Austin does with Trigalgy. So it's not nothing. Quillfish is real. Dragonite is the dragon type that Pokemon that I wanted in the draft. And then I got a little bit sidetracked. Dragonite's a super serious Pokemon, and behind screens, it's an absolute fucking freak. So if you don't get to break those screens right away with how the positioning is, if your Brick Break or Psychic Fate Pokemon are not available to, this thing will click Dragon Dance in your face behind screens. It will be weakness policy. You will not deal any damage to it. It will click Dragon Dance a couple times, and you will lose to it on the spot. It's a fucking freak. And then Lucario's there too. It's a Steel type. It is is what we ended with. The Steel type. It's a
I like
fighting
Lucario a
type.
lot.
Lucario's pretty good. But I don't know. He's got the combos
I had him
down.
at yeah, I had him at 9, kind of similar to. I just think his team is meh. There's nothing that's really speaking to me of anything that's ever working together.
Yep.
Nothing that's too crazy.
Low
I think
synergy for sure.
yeah, I think his Terra Captains are one of the worst. Probably the worst one that only have 2 Terra Captains. I'll say
Yeah,
that.
I agree.
Um,
Tauros is better than I think you're giving it credit for.
and
But
it's Intimidate, right? Like
it's it's
Tauros is basically
it's not
default.
that good. It kind of
And then
clicks moves honestly, but it's not.
it has like Head Smash, right? Because doesn't it have the thing where like you don't get kind of like the Hisuian and Arachne? Or am I stupid?
Arachne.
Or not Arachne? What's Arcanine? There we go. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Jesus Christ. No, it gets sheer forces. It's sheer force or intimidate are its two moves. Um, and it's gonna be clicking. You get to like double edge with it with sheer force.
Yeah.
I think,
hmm
but
I hope he's like. Doesn't he have a Head Smash?
raging
Doesn't he
bull
have head? No,
rather.
he doesn't.
No,
He doesn't.
it's okay. It gets decent coverage. It's okay. It's not crazy. You can even fucking bring Blizzard on it if you want. I don't know. You wouldn't do that, but its special attack is nothing. And then Mark's team at the end here. He was a person that Jimmy brought in. It's Jimmy's brother-in-law. I've met the guy. He drafted a all bird type Pokemon team, where me and AJ were talking ahead of the draft. Maybe you were there as well. I said you want to stay away from the flying type Pokemon the most that you can, which he started off pretty well with Iron Bundle, Espathra, Decidueye, and then at the end of the draft he ended up with these flying type Pokemon. I think he really should have prioritized the Galarian forms of the original birds. Those would have all been really good additions to his team because his team at the end of the day here doesn't have a ground type, and half the team is, or maybe even better, like let's see, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Seven Pokemon, and Ducklet doesn't even count. So it's 7 of 9 are weak to electric type moves, and he doesn't have a ground type. So he's gonna need. He hasn't selected his Terra Cabins yet. I'm gonna have to text him today or something. And he's gonna need to make some of his Terra type captain or his Terra Captain's ground. He did end up with Oricorio, a Pokemon that is super cool. Because it gets to be 4 different Pokemon basically. it gets to be a fire flying, a psychic flying, an electric flying, or a ghost flying type Pokemon. So a little kind of hard to prep for. Dancer is also a really good ability, but he's gonna have to be pretty creative with that. They also all get Quiver Dance, is my knowledge, so it's it's pretty good. It's a cool Pokemon to have because it's like 4 Pokemon in one. But yeah, his team. I think Mark's actually a pretty decent player. Is my guess. I haven't played with him. The way Jimmy was talking about him, he sounded like that he used to play competitive Pokemon a little bit, and now has not. And then he was building like a real team, and then he heard about Emmett from last season doing all Ghost, and he said, "Oh, I like birds a lot. I'm gonna do a bird type Pokemon team." So
Uh, I mean, yeah, my thoughts are pretty similar to yours. I think his start of the draft was pretty good.
yeah,
And then we got to the back half, and it was just I think Mandibuzz is scary. I think that Pokemon's really strong, and I was happy that nobody took it. And then I remembered Mark was a bird lover, and yeah, that Pokemon
birds.
was annoying. Yeah, that I faced. Having a strong electric type is gonna be nice. If you are having a strong
Jack,
rock type, also gonna be nice.
fucking with the
Um,
Electrode. Electrode's eating that week for sure. Look out.
yeah.
Uh,
So I think his team is a lot better than the previous mono teams that Emmett used to do, as in the
I
mono
would
frog
agree
and
with
then
you.
the mono ghost. So, and yeah, that was the other thing. I have him at 10 as well, just because he was kind of shoestringed into taking all birds because he wanted to do that. So his team is, I feel like, going to be worse. But if he's good, his Pokemon are not that
No,
terrible.
he has good Pokemon. He just has
Yeah,
a weakness being electric, so he needs to do Terra Ground for sure. But like Iron Bundle, Corv, Espathra, and then like Manabuzz is a really great start. Like that's a really good four. And then Talonflame can be dangerous, or Oricorio I think is super versatile. I don't know. He's got a better team than I think it looks on paper, but it's just he does have this giant weakness, which was an issue last time for Emmett. You just get to bring Dark type Pokemon or Dark type moves, and then this time you just get to bring Electric type moves. So he's gonna need to address that issue for sure. Have you looked at your schedule at all yet, Ryan? I think you
I know I play against Jack week 1.
you
That
play
is
against
all I
Jack week
know.
one. Okay, there you go. So I play against Jimmy week one. So we have a little bit of a different I play against the 9 that we put, and then you play against the 1 or 2 here. So against Jimmy,
I Yeah, I'm expecting you to beat Jimmy. Realistically, I'd be very surprised if you didn't.
that's the one.
I'm kind of excited to see what he kind of brings,
Yeah,
because the one thing about Jimmy is I feel like he has Rotom. I feel like is kind of useless. I
I
don't
think he'll probably
know.
bring most weeks is going to be Chiyu, Ninetales, Dragonite, Lucario, and then one of his 2 Terra captains, and then also
Spirit
Mesprit,
potentially.
Tatsugiri, or Quillfish. I think his team is relatively open to what he can bring. I don't think he's shoehorned in anything like Noah is, or like I'm bringing Sneasel, Gliscor, Golden Go. But I guess I have him as bringing his top 2 and his
I feel like
bottom
you're
2
gonna bring
Pokemon each
Roaring
time.
Moon often too. That
Yeah,
Pokemon's good without Torkoal.
I know. I just don't like Orion as a Pokemon, so that's why I hate my draft
It
and I
was
have
so
myself at
funny
4.
because yeah, I know it was like you were literally making fun of it. You
I
had it
hate
by
that
in the
Pokemon.
car,
It's
and you're
so
making fun of how
lame.
boring the Pokemon was. And then I saw you pick it, and I said, "What are you
It,
doing?
it
Like,
is. It
did you
is.
just do it because you needed a photosynthesis user as a Dragon type? I
Yes,
bet you that was
I thought that it was a good combo with Torkoal, as well as
mhm.
I needed a Dark type still for Sneasler, and I needed a Dragon type. So it covered a lot of bases. It does do its role quite well, I think, but it's not a Pokemon that I personally like. So I get this like Riley syndrome here, where I don't like my team because I don't like a couple of Pokemon on it, and that's my issue. But yeah, you're against Jack week 1 here, so you have one of the harder matchups, I would say. You'll have to prep pretty well. I know Jack. I spoke to him maybe a few days ago, and he said he already built his team for you, which might be altered now that you've entered your Terra
I have
types.
my Terry types, yeah,
Um,
but I feel like it was relatively. You know who the two were gonna be. I guess maybe not River but like we're gonna make River a Terra captain. I feel like he has a lot of good moves where I never would want to bring a Terra Blast on him, and
mhm.
not super defensive. And Kilowattrel's just so much better at that. So,
Yep.
no, I on the plane I built a couple of different teams that I was
Ooh,
gonna use. I didn't have a calc available, so that was like the one
you
thing
can
where I
ca-
didn't do
you can
any
calc on
eases
your
or anything
phone.
like that.
You can calc on your
I
phone.
can't with no Wi-Fi
That's a good point.
or service.
That's a good point.
But yeah, so I built a couple teams. They're pretty different from themselves too. So throughout the week beforehand, I'm definitely gonna do some more calcs on it and see what I think is better. But yeah, I'm expecting to lose,
Oh,
but we'll see. We'll see.
give yourself some
I think
credit, Ryan.
his team is so strong and tanky,
I know.
and I don't know. The one thing I noticed is he's pretty weak to ground type. Is what I saw.
But
So
Empoleon, Gudra, Croc, Electrode, kinda, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. Great Tusk looks good into him, I would say.
yeah,
Nile doesn't
Great
have great
Tusk is
ways to
pretty
hit it.
good.
Clefable's gonna hit it well. Espeon will hit it well. Empoleon will hit it well. I don't know. Meowscarada will hit it well. Great Tusk sucks. I lied. We'll see. But yeah, I don't know. It should be crazy. The Terra difference here is probably going to be a pretty big deal. You don't just get to make any Pokemon win any matchup anymore now. So that is going to be a pretty big change of pace from last season. I don't know. I don't know, man. Um,
We'll see. I think you are right that I'm not giving myself enough credit,
I think your team's
but
totally fine. Like I was saying before, like we put this number at 7 on you, but I really think that you could be anywhere from 4 to 8.
so I had tiers. I had you and Jack at like tier one,
Okay.
and then a big grouping of like Riley, AJ, Ian, and Noah. I think
Okay.
we're tier two. Me and Austin tier three. Jimmy Mark tier four.
Okay.
That's kind of what I did. I think Austin and I could slide into playoffs for sure. I'm assuming we're doing six again.
Yep, we're doing 6, so
Um,
that'll be kind of crazy this time, right? It'll only be 60% of the people as opposed to whatever the fuck 6 out of 8 is. But
75%.
thank
If,
you.
if you
Um,
if you won two games, you're in.
yes.
Um, but
Yeah, there's
yeah,
it's gonna be a lot less people making playoffs this time, so it should be pretty cool that way. That it's gonna be more of a big deal to actually get into the playoff position. Undecided, I think, yet exactly how playoffs are gonna be happening with the seeding and whatnot. Because I know last time you and AJ were kind of talking about maybe doing like the 1 and 2 like pick what people they have on their side and shit. But we'll see. If nothing else, it's gonna default back. I also need to. I'm just remembering. Need to put out an announcement for people need to submit their like pastes, their teams after the fact, with is what your idea
Mhm.
was, which is reasonable. Um, so I need to say that. Yeah, I need to message Mark is my agenda for this still today. But yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty different than last season. I'm excited. I know the DLC actually comes out in maybe a week or so from now as well. I don't know if you've looked at the new Pokemon that are coming and shit. It's kind of cool. So that'll maybe
I
be a
saw like one thing on TikTok that Groudon now knows Steam Eruption, just like Walking Wake,
oh,
and I
that's
think that's
cool.
cool.
That's actually super sick. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Groudon won't be legal, luckily, and
Well, yeah.
if we do a season 3, but that will be cool for people that are using Groudon and stuff, I guess. Pretty big deal that way.
I think literally the only thing I saw.
Yeah. Okay.
So
But a
and
lot.
and I know a whole bunch of the starter Pokemon are coming back.
Yes, a lot
I
of
saw
stars are
that.
coming back. Gen 3 stars are coming back. I know.
Mhm.
Or not Gen 3. Sorry. Gen 2 rather.
Gen three are. I know.
Are
I saw
are
those
are they
too.
also? Okay. Cool.
Yep.
So new starters next time, as well as what's his fucking face? Electric Dog. Raikou's getting his like special form, like Walking Wake has here for Suicune.
Oh yeah, the like giraffe looking thing.
I think Entei might be as well. That's unconfirmed yet, but there's Duraludon's back, which is sweet. So there'll be some cool Pokemon for next season as well. And I wonder
Dude,
when
Jellicent better be back.
Jellicent, I don't believe is back. That you'll never get to play with
Yes.
that Pokemon ever. It's so great. I hate that Pokemon. You're the only one that likes
Wait,
it in the
wait,
whole
what?
world. Jellicent?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you mean he's never gonna be back?
not
He
gonna be
was
back.
in every single game since Gen five except for this game.
Well, a lot of Pokemon aren't in this game, so
That's true.
they'll
All
have
right.
to deal with it. Yeah, I think that's about it here. Good draft. I like a lot of people's teams. People were taking it a little more seriously this time, which is cool. A lot of annoying
Mhm.
Pokemon were drafted, unfortunately. But I think I've heard that I have a couple of them, even though I don't really see Gliscor as annoying because it's not. Cause I get to use it, I guess. So
Yeah, Glasgow super not annoying Pokemon.
Yeah, true, true. Gothitelle also. People were like groaning when I picked that as well. They just like, oh, if you pick Gothitelle, I'm just gonna go to the draft. So, not the case though. He's going to play. But yeah, thank you, Ryan, for talking with me today. And
Welcome.
we're missing football right now. But fuck it,
Okay.
we'll survive. All right. Good luck with your season.
Thanks.